The galaxy had long looked upon humanity with mild curiosity, a primitive species thriving on a small, insignificant blue planet, dismissed as incapable of true interstellar influence, yet no intelligence report or diplomatic assessment had ever captured the depth of human ingenuity or the relentless persistence that defined them. And now, as a massive ARKL fleet of the Veshari Dominion descended into the Orion sector with a confidence born of centuries of conquest, they saw only an easy victory, a minor species to be subdued with minimal effort and maximal intimidation, their massive dreadnoughts casting shadows across the void as thousands of smaller vessels formed precise formations that would have crushed any ordinary opponent. Yet the humans had anticipated this arrogance. Their own fleets hidden within dense asteroid belts and cloaked in experimental graviton fields that rendered the largest capital ships invisible to conventional sensors. And as the first wave of Veshari scouts entered the sector, human commanders observed each movement with clinical precision, calculating trajectory, speed, and attack probability with a level of coordination that even the Dominion's AI-assisted strategists found unnerving. Captain Elena Harper of the USS Horizon, a veteran of countless interstellar drills, issued orders with the calm efficiency of someone conducting a symphony, each ship maneuvering like notes in a deadly orchestration, deploying decoy drones that emitted false signatures mimicking entire battalions, while simultaneously dispersing energy pulses that subtly interfere with the Dominion's targeting arrays. And when the Veshari, sensing nothing but an empty field, activated their graviton cannons to sweep the area, they triggered a chain reaction that backfired, destroying several of their own vessels as hidden mines disguised as harmless debris exploded with pinpoint accuracy. While back on the Horizon's bridge, Tactical Officer Marcus Liu monitored multiple real-time feeds, noticing patterns in the Dominion fleet's responses, predicting their every overconfident adjustment, and feeding this data into the fleet-wide neural network that suggested maneuvers even the most seasoned human admirals would have struggled to calculate manually. And while the Veshari fleet faltered, believing themselves victims of chance rather than human design, the true genius of human strategy unfolded as long-range disruptors jammed the enemy. Communication channels, causing confusion among squadrons and human bombers, engineered for stealth and speed, slipped past offensive screens to deliver precision strikes against critical power nodes, each detonation calculated to maximize system-wide cascading failures without alerting the Dominion to the full scope of the trap. And as the hours stretched into 10 cycles of attack and counterattack, the arrogance of the alien command turned into panic, with each decision increasingly erratic as humans anticipated, countered, and exploited every predictable impulse. And in the midst of the chaos, Ambassador Jonah Carter initiated a psychological offensive, broadcasting messages across subspace channels taunting the Dominion with evidence of human technological superiority and strategic foresight, sowing doubt among their ranks and fracturing trust between their high command and field admirals, a divide that the humans had carefully studied for months. And as the Dominion leadership attempted to regain control, human fleets executed the second phase, enveloping isolated squadrons with near-perfect pincer movements that left alien vessels disoriented and vulnerable. The combination of human tactical brilliance, rapid adaptation, and the exploitation of every alien assumption turned what should have been a routine campaign into a devastating display of human dominance. And by the time the first Veshari battleship attempted to retreat, it was too late, caught in A, trap where every escape route had been anticipated and blocked, engines overwhelmed by targeted EMP bursts, leaving the crew scrambling in confusion, while the human command continued to push forward, not with reckless aggression, but with precise, calculated strikes, demonstrating the cold efficiency of a species underestimated for far too long. And through it all, the lesson became painfully clear to the Dominion. Overconfidence against humans was not just a mistake. It was a fatal error that would be remembered across the galaxy for generations, as every tactical choice, every maneuver, and every technological innovation executed by humanity shattered centuries of complacency and arrogance, establishing that the underestimated species from Sol System was a force whose genius in warfare and strategy could not be ignored, a force that would leave an indelible mark on the stars. As the remnants of the Veshari fleet struggled to regroup, the humans had already shifted their attention to the broader Orion sector, utilizing an intricate network of relay satellites and autonomous reconnaissance drones to map every approach, every asteroid field, and every gravitational anomaly that could serve as cover or trap, with Commander Alicia Reynolds coordinating the deployment of human frigates in staggered formations that allowed maximum coverage while minimizing exposure. The fleet moving with a rhythm that seemed almost alive, anticipating enemy maneuvers before they were even executed, while scientists aboard the Horizon worked tirelessly to enhance sensor arrays and shield harmonics, creating temporary fields that not only rendered vessels invisible, but could subtly redirect incoming energy attacks, forcing alien gunners to aim at illusions rather than reality. And as the Veshari High Command attempted to reassess the situation, believing their intelligence, networks had failed. They discovered too late that humans had not only studied their tactics, but had anticipated their psychological tendencies, predicting their overconfidence and impatience with uncanny accuracy. And in a daring operation, a small human strike team led by Lieutenant Marcus Kane infiltrated the Dominion's remote command outpost on a nearby moon, bypassing security protocols with hacking tools designed to mimic alien AI subroutines, planting devices that relayed false sensor readings and intercepted communications, while simultaneously sending encrypted messages back to Earth and other allied human colonies, coordinating the larger fleet movements with real-time precision. And as the Veshari attempted to counter these deceptive maneuvers, human engineers aboard orbital platforms deployed adaptive minefields that rearranged themselves according to enemy ship positions, creating a maze of lethal obstacles that left even the most experienced alien pilots disoriented and vulnerable. While at the same time, Ambassador Jonah Carter orchestrated a diplomatic subterfuge, leaking falsified intelligence that suggested humanity had formed alliances with other powerful galactic species, feeding paranoia into the Dominion leadership and causing internal dissent that spread like wildfire, with commanders questioning each other's motives and refusing to commit reserves, leaving key sectors undefended. And exploiting these gaps, human cruisers executed lightning fast strikes against supply convoys, weapon depots, and communication hubs, each attack meticulously calculated to erode morale while conserving resources, demonstrating a strategic patience and cunning that defied the Dominion's expectations. And as the alien fleet's cohesion crumbled, the humans revealed yet another layer of their tactical genius. Long-range graviton projectors capable of subtly altering space-time metrics to make enemy maneuvers unpredictable, creating illusions of empty corridors and false escape routes, luring entire squadrons into ambushes where advanced railguns and torpedo arrays annihilated them before they could react. The combination of superior technology, tactical foresight, and psychological manipulation, leaving the Veshari with a single, undeniable realization that humanity's genius in warfare was not just in their weapons, but in their ability to think 10 steps ahead, to use every asset, environment, and psychological factor to maximum effect. And as human communications relayed real-time updates of every victory, the morale on Earth and human colonies soared, uniting populations behind a vision of strategic brilliance and unbreakable resolve, while across the Dominion, whispers of incompetence, betrayal, and fatal underestimation spread among their ranks, proving that the arrogance which had driven them to dismiss humanity was now the very catalyst of their downfall. And through every calculated strike, deception, and maneuver, the humans demonstrated that tactical genius was not born of raw power alone, but of discipline, patience, insight, and a relentless drive to exploit every weakness, every assumption, and every mistake of an enemy who had believed themselves invincible, setting the stage for a confrontation that would forever alter the balance of power across the stars and leave a lesson etched into the memory of every galactic species. Never underestimate humanity. As the Orion sector fell increasingly under human control, the Veshari Dominion's desperation grew, their fleets now fragmented and moving with hesitant caution. Yet the humans anticipated every hesitant maneuver, their strategic network analyzing the smallest deviations from standard military doctrine and predicting enemy intent with uncanny precision. Admiral Robert Kane aboard the USS Vanguard coordinated multi-pronged offensives that simultaneously targeted supply chains, command centers, and forward outposts, creating cascading chaos within the alien ranks, while Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell led specialized boarding operations in zero-gravity conditions, disabling enemy vessels from within by exploiting weak points identified through months of careful observation and simulated drills. And aboard the Horizon, engineers pushed experimental technology to its limits, deploying nanorepair swarms that could mend critical hull breaches almost instantly, giving human ships the ability to endure sustained bombardment that would have crippled any other fleet, while long-range subspace disruptors create confusion in the Dominion's communication channels, scrambling sensor readings and causing alien squadrons to misinterpret fleet positions, often attacking phantom formations or retreating unnecessarily. And as the humans executed these maneuvers, Captain Elena Harper coordinated with ground teams on strategic moons to establish hidden staging areas and hidden orbital platforms, each equipped with autonomous defense systems capable of engaging enemy ships without human intervention, multiplying the effect of every fleet movement and creating a sense of omnipresence that left the Dominion feeling hunted and overwhelmed. While on the psychological front, Ambassador Jonah Carter continued his campaign of misinformation and intimidation, releasing intercepted alien communications with subtle edits suggesting betrayal and incompetence among Veshari commanders, causing panic and hesitation that humans exploited immediately, turning what should have been reactive maneuvers into lethal traps, and in an unprecedented display of tactical ingenuity, human forces deployed advanced graviton mines that not only disrupted propulsion systems, but could manipulate the trajectory of entire capital ships, effectively turning enemy weapons against themselves while minimizing human casualties. And as the Dominion leadership attempted to regroup, their overconfidence gave way to confusion. Each decision slower, more cautious, and ultimately less effective, allowing humans to isolate individual squadrons and annihilate them one by one with surgical precision, demonstrating a level of strategic patience and adaptability that the Veshari had never encountered. And as the hours turned into days of sustained conflict, human coordination and ingenuity proved unstoppable. Combining advanced technology, real-time intelligence, psychological warfare, and flawless execution to dismantle the Dominion's operational structure entirely, while the wider galaxy began to take notice of the humans' remarkable capabilities, with independent star systems sending tentative support and observing how a species once dismissed as primitive had now become the orchestrator of an unstoppable military campaign, leaving no doubt that humanity's tactical genius had transformed them from underdogs into masters of strategy, an overwhelming force whose brilliance in combat was matched only by their patience, ingenuity, and relentless drive to seize every advantage, ultimately turning the arrogance and overconfidence of the Dominion into the very instrument of their defeat and establishing a precedent that would echo throughout the cosmos. Human beings, underestimated and dismissed, have become a tactical nightmare from which no alien civilization could easily recover. With the Veshari Dominion reeling from the relentless human offensive, the humans expanded their operations beyond mere tactical engagements, initiating coordinated strikes across multiple star systems to secure strategic choke points and cut off any potential reinforcements, while simultaneously deploying espionage teams disguised as non-threatening trading vessels to infiltrate planetary governments and gather intelligence on Dominion loyalists, with Captain Elena Harper directing fleet movements from a vanguard in perfect synchrony with planetary operations, ensuring that every assault, every blockade, and every diversion created maximum disruption. And aboard the Horizon, Lieutenant Marcus Liu oversaw a network of AI-assisted prediction algorithms that continuously analyzed enemy behavior, identifying weak points in fleet coordination, command structures, and logistics, allowing human commanders to anticipate actions hours before Veshari could execute them. And as the Dominion attempted to respond, their overconfidence now compounded by panic and misinformation, they fell into carefully constructed traps where human frigates and cruisers executed complex flanking maneuvers and feigned retreats, drawing entire squadrons into ambushes that left alien vessels disabled or destroyed with devastating efficiency, while human bombers employed cloaking technology to bypass defense grids and deliver precision payloads that crippled critical infrastructure without alerting the Dominion to the full scope of the offensive. And on the diplomatic front, Ambassador Jonah Carter leveraged intercepted communications and propaganda channels to sow distrust between the Dominion's allied species, suggesting collusion and incompetence that fragmented their coalition and caused key commanders to hesitate, often refusing to act when decisive action was required, creating openings for human forces to exploit, while scientists on board orbital stations developed temporal sensors capable of detecting fluctuations in enemy maneuvers and projecting likely attack vectors, providing the fleet with a predictive advantage that rendered the Dominion's decades of experience useless. And as the human forces pressed forward, combining psychological warfare, technological superiority, and unparalleled tactical foresight, the Veshari realized that every assumption they had made about human limitations was now catastrophically false, with entire task forces immobilized or destroyed before they could respond effectively. And in the midst of this chaos, elite human strike teams carried out surgical operations on enemy command centers, disabling entire sectors with minimal losses while ensuring that the broader Dominion leadership could not coordinate countermeasures. Their arrogance now turned into a liability that played directly into human hands, and as the humans continued to execute maneuvers with precision and patience, the wider galaxy began to witness a species whose tactical genius, adaptability, and unity of purpose allowed them to take on the most powerful galactic empire and dismantle it piece by piece, demonstrating that the underestimated humans of Sol System were not only capable of surviving interstellar warfare, but of mastering it, leaving the Veshari Dominion scrambling to comprehend the full extent of a foe who had turned every strength, every arrogance, and every miscalculation of the galaxy's most advanced powers into a series of humiliating and devastating defeats, proving beyond any doubt that human tactical genius was not merely a concept, but an unstoppable reality that would forever alter the balance of power among the stars. As human dominance in the Orion sector solidified, the Veshari Dominion scrambled to assemble a counteroffensive, but every move it made had already been anticipated, mapped, and neutralized by human strategic networks that combined centuries of psychological study, real-time intelligence, and predictive algorithms capable of simulating countless possible outcomes in seconds. And Captain Elena Harper directed her fleet with an almost prescient understanding of enemy behavior, orchestrating complex maneuvers that turned every alien attempt at regrouping into a deadly trap, while Lieutenant Marcus Kane led specialized boarding teams on rapid, zero-gravity insertions that disabled key systems aboard enemy ships, allowing human forces to turn captured vessels against their former owners, demonstrating an adaptability and improvisation that no Dominion commander had considered possible. And as the Dominion's high command realized that conventional tactics were futile, Ambassador Jonah Carter exploited the cracks in morale by broadcasting messages that highlighted human ingenuity, courage, and unity, contrasting them with the alien failures and sowing doubt among the ranks, forcing alien officers to second-guess every decision, often to catastrophic effect. And simultaneously, engineers aboard the Horizon deployed experimental graviton projectors and long-range kinetic disruptors, subtly manipulating space-time near critical battle zones to cause enemy formations to drift apart or collide with each other without any human ship entering direct fire range, effectively using physics itself as a weapon, while planetary operations teams secured vital resources, establishing forward bases that allowed humans to refuel, repair, and resupply without exposing themselves to unnecessary risk, creating a logistical superiority that made every alien advance increasingly untenable. And in a daring psychological maneuver, Carter orchestrated a campaign suggesting that humanity had access to allies and technologies the Dominion had never encountered, amplifying fear and hesitation among alien commanders, while human cruisers executed precision strikes against high-value targets such as communication hubs, fleet coordination centers, and orbital weapon platforms, each strike designed to maximize disruption while minimizing resource expenditure, leaving the Dominion fleet fractured and isolated, with ships unable to support each other. And as human forces continued to press forward, they unveiled yet another layer of tactical brilliance, synchronized multi-sector assaults that forced alien leaders to divide attention and resources, leaving key installations vulnerable to targeted human attacks, demonstrating that humanity's genius and strategy was not merely in executing superior tactics, but in understanding the enemy's mind, predicting behavior, exploiting overconfidence, and leveraging every advantage to its fullest extent. And as the galaxy watched, the once proud Veshari Dominion, confident in their supremacy, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn, their arrogance now a chain dragging them to ruin. And through it all, human forces maintained calm discipline, precise execution, and unyielding determination, proving beyond question that the underestimated species of Sol system had transformed into a tactical juggernaut whose mastery of warfare, strategy, and psychological manipulation would forever be remembered as a turning point in galactic history, a demonstration that the combination of intellect, foresight, and human resolve could outmatch even the most advanced civilizations in the universe. By the time the Dominion attempted to regroup and launch what they believed could be a decisive counterstrike, human forces had already anticipated the maneuver, their strategic foresight extending across multiple star systems. With Admiral Robert Kane directing fleet formations that exploited every weakness in alien deployment while maintaining layers of deception that made each human movement appear unpredictable and chaotic, yet each action was meticulously planned, synchronized, and executed with precision, while Captain Elena Harper oversaw orbital operations where human teams, utilizing stealth technology and graviton-based repulsion systems, intercepted supply convoys and disrupted command relay networks, effectively paralyzing enemy coordination. And aboard the Horizon, Lieutenant Marcus Liu implemented real-time simulations that allowed the fleet to respond to multiple hypothetical scenarios simultaneously, predicting alien reactions and neutralizing threats before they materialized, while specialized strike teams infiltrated enemy-held moons and stations, planning devices that created artificial gravitational anomalies, disabling navigation systems, and forcing the Dominion to misjudge distances, velocities, and attack vectors, turning their advanced technology against them. And in a masterstroke of psychological warfare, Ambassador Jonah Carter broadcast carefully curated intelligence suggesting that humans possessed hidden allies, advanced technologies, and tactical doctrines unknown to the Dominion, fueling distrust, fear, and hesitation among their command ranks, leaving them unable to execute coherent strategies, while human forces executed surgical strikes against isolated squadrons, high-value installations, and critical infrastructure, each attack demonstrating an understanding of alien psychology and operational limitations that made the Veshari realize too late that every assumption they had made about human inferiority had been fatally flawed. As the alien fleet faltered under relentless human pressure, long-range kinetic disruptors and precision graviton mines rendered traditional formations useless, forcing the Dominion to scatter in confusion, only to encounter ambushes calculated down to the exact second, while planetary resistance movements, secretly trained and equipped by humans, seized control of key locations, preventing reinforcements and creating multiple fronts of engagement that further disoriented alien forces. And through it all, human commanders maintained unwavering focus, coordinating every aspect of fleet, ground, and orbital operations with clarity and adaptability that the Veshari had never imagined possible, their overconfidence now a liability that made each decision more dangerous than the last. And as the humans pressed forward, exploiting every weakness, adapting to every unexpected development, and striking with surgical precision, it became increasingly clear across the galaxy that the underestimated species of Sol system had not only survived interstellar warfare, but had mastered it, turning arrogance into a weapon, overconfidence into a vulnerability, and tactical brilliance into an unstoppable force, proving that human ingenuity, discipline, and strategic genius were not merely traits, but instruments capable of reshaping the balance of power among the stars, leaving every civilization that had dismissed humanity forced to reconsider the consequences of underestimating the resolute, cunning, and relentless species now claiming its place among the galaxy's dominant powers. As the Dominion's once proud fleets continued to falter under the relentless human offensive, the humans escalated their campaign to its decisive phase, coordinating a vast, multi-layered operation that encompassed orbital strikes, planetary assaults, and covert infiltration missions simultaneously, with Captain Elena Harper directing fleet movements with unparalleled precision, while Lieutenant Marcus Kane led elite teams in zero-gravity boarding operations that disabled critical alien command vessels, turning captured ships against their former masters. And aboard the Horizon, Lieutenant Marcus Liu refined the fleet's predictive algorithms to incorporate real-time battle developments, ensuring that human forces anticipated every Dominion maneuver, while engineers deployed advanced graviton projectors to subtly manipulate space-time, creating illusions of empty corridors, false escape routes, and phantom fleets, luring entire alien squadrons into deadly traps, while Ambassador Jonah Carter continued his psychological offensive, broadcasting messages that highlighted human ingenuity, courage, and tactical brilliance, sowing doubt, paranoia, and infighting within the Dominion command structure, with alien officers questioning each other's loyalty and competence, leaving key decisions delayed or abandoned, and as humans struck simultaneously at multiple fronts, isolating and eliminating key alien units. The Veshari realized too late that their overconfidence had been weaponized against them. Each action, each assumption, each technological advantage now exploited by human ingenuity, while planetary resistance movements, equipped and trained by human operatives, seized control of supply depots, communication hubs, and orbital installations, preventing reinforcements and creating a network of logistical choke points that amplified the effectiveness of human strikes. And in an unprecedented display of coordinated brilliance, human forces synchronized kinetic bombardments, graviton disruptions, and precision strikes across dozens of systems, forcing the Dominion to react with fragmented, disorganized maneuvers that left them increasingly vulnerable, while clandestine teams transmitted falsified intelligence suggesting that humans had even more powerful allies and secret weaponry, fueling fear and hesitation across the alien ranks. And as the Dominion attempted to retreat, human forces anticipated every escape route, using ambushes, minefields, and gravitational traps to neutralize fleeing vessels, demonstrating that the human's genius was not just an offense, but in complete control of the operational environment, exploiting terrain, technology, psychology, and timing in perfect harmony. While across the galaxy, observers watched in awe as a species once dismissed as primitive systematically dismantled one of the most advanced civilizations, proving that human tactical genius was not merely theoretical, but a practical, unstoppable force. And as the last Dominion vessels fell into human hands or were destroyed, the surviving alien leadership understood the true cost of underestimating humanity, their arrogance and overconfidence shattered, leaving an enduring legacy of respect, fear, and recognition that the underestimated species of Sol System had forever altered the balance of power in the galaxy, demonstrating that human ingenuity, adaptability, strategic foresight, and relentless determination were forces no civilization could afford to ignore, and in the aftermath, humanity's triumph was complete. The Orion sector firmly under their control, their genius in warfare, diplomacy, and psychology forever cemented as the measure against which all future civilizations would gauge their own capabilities, proving that the underestimated humans were now the masters of their destiny and a dominant force in the galaxy.